Woman, listen carefully. What is coming into your life is not something far away, not something years from now. It is closer than you think. There is a shift about to happen in your spirit, and if you are not prepared, you may confuse it with loss, when in truth it is the sound of your freedom knocking on the door. The season you are entering will demand that you rise above emotions that once held you captive, and if you don't recognize it, you will try to hold on to what God Himself is removing. Don't ignore this. It's coming sooner than you realize. There comes a point when your strength as a woman is not proven by how much you can endure, but by what you can release. Many think power is in the grip, but true power is in the hand that can open. You must understand that everything that remains in your life is not always meant to stay. Sometimes the weight you carry is not a crown. It's a chain, and the evidence of wisdom is the courage to put it down. You were not created to be ruled by emotions. Emotions are servants, not masters. When a woman allows her feelings to sit on the throne of her heart, her purpose becomes a prisoner. But when she decides that her vision is greater than her tears, her destiny becomes unstoppable. There is nothing more dangerous to darkness than a woman who refuses to be manipulated by temporary feelings. Your confidence is not in who applauds you, who validates you, or who decides to walk with you. Your confidence is found in your ability to walk away from distractions without trembling, to say goodbye without collapsing, to see a closed door and not feel less because you know you are already complete. That woman is the mark of a queen. What drains you cannot define you, and what you separate yourself from cannot diminish you. On the contrary, it creates space for what God has been trying to send. As long as your hands are filled with what doesn't serve your spirit, you have no room to receive what truly belongs to you. The faster you recognize this, the quicker your breakthrough will manifest. Hear me carefully. Freedom is not the absence of people. It is the presence of clarity. When your worth is no longer tied to who stays or who leaves, anchored in the assignment that heaven has written over your life, then you become untouchable. Nothing and no one can shake a woman who knows why she exists. Maturity is not how long you've lived. It is how well you can guard your peace. Wise woman understands that her heart is her garden, and not everyone has the right to plant seeds there. Protect your space, protect your joy, protect your future. For the moment you begin to live without apology for guarding what God entrusted to you, you will step into a level of strength that no disappointment, no betrayal, no rejection can ever destroy. A woman's true power is not measured by how tightly she can grip what is slipping away, but by how gracefully she can release it and still remain whole. Holding on may seem like strength, but in reality, it is often fear disguised as loyalty. Many times you hold on to relationships, responsibilities, or even memories, thinking they are the anchor of your identity. Yet in truth, they may be the very weight pulling you beneath the surface. Strength is not revealed in clinging. It is revealed in your ability to let go without losing yourself. When you release what no longer aligns with your destiny, you are not diminishing your value. You are actually affirming it. Because it takes deep confidence to say, I am enough without this. It takes courage to walk away from what feels familiar but no longer feeds your future. And when you do, you discover something remarkable. Your value was never tied to what you were holding. It was always within you. The power is not in the thing you release, but in the fact that you remain whole after releasing it. Think of a tree in autumn. Its leaves fall, but the tree does not panic. It does not cling to the old leaves because it knows the cycle of life will bring new ones in season. The tree's strength is not in its leaves. It is in its roots. So it is with you. Your strength is not proven by what you can keep, by what you can surrender and still stand tall, rooted in purpose. A woman who can release without crumbling is a woman who cannot be broken, because she knows that what she carries within her is far greater than anything she could ever lose on the outside. Letting go of what no longer serves you is not a sign of weakness. It is the highest expression of wisdom and vision. When you cling to what has expired, You imprison yourself in a place where growth can no longer occur. Many remain tied to situations, people, or patterns out of fear of being alone, fear of rejection, fear of starting over. But fear is not a foundation for destiny. Every time you release something that has lost its purpose in your life, you create space for what truly belongs to you. This is not abandonment, it is alignment. A woman who understands her identity does not measure her strength by how long she can endure what drains her spirit. She measures her strength by her ability to discern when the season has shifted and respond with courage. To release is not to lose. It is to acknowledge that not everything is meant to accompany you into your future. What was once a blessing can become a burden if you refuse to recognize its time has ended. This awareness requires vision. It means seeing beyond the temporary comfort of familiarity and embracing the greater call of destiny. Your value is not in what you keep, but in what you refuse to settle for. It is the refusal to allow the past to dictate your future. It is the decision to honor your purpose above your emotions. Every door you close is not a failure. Sometimes it is the very proof that you are advancing. A woman who can release with peace proves that her identity is not tied to circumstances, but anchored in purpose. And once she embraces this truth, she becomes unstoppable because nothing from yesterday can chain her tomorrow. When a woman refuses to be ruled by her emotions, she begins to discover the depth of her true authority and purpose. Emotions are real, they are powerful, and they are God-given, but they were never designed to be in command of your destiny. They are indicators, not leaders. They show you how you feel in a moment, but they cannot reveal the full picture of where you are going. If you let emotions govern your decisions, they will always pull you toward what feels good now instead of what builds you for the future. A woman who is governed by purpose rather than feeling stands on a different level of authority. She can feel the storm, but not be swept away by it. She can experience hurt, but not let bitterness define her. She can face rejection, but still hold her head high because her vision is not tied to how people treat her. It is anchored in the assignment over her life. This ability to rise above emotions is not about denying them, but about mastering them. It is knowing when to acknowledge them, when to process them, when to silence them so that your destiny remains clear. The enemy of purpose is often the distraction of feelings. Anger can blind you. Fear can paralyze you. Loneliness can cause you to settle. But when you learn to rule over your emotions, no longer have the power to sabotage your future. This is the moment where true strength emerges. A woman who chooses vision over emotion becomes a force of influence because she cannot be easily manipulated. She carries the calm of wisdom in the face of chaos, and in that calm is where her authority shines the brightest. True confidence is not displayed in how loudly you can demand attention or how many people surround you. It is revealed in your ability to walk away from what no longer contributes to your growth without fear of being left alone. Many women have been conditioned to believe that their value is measured by who approves of them, who validates them, or who chooses to stay. When you discover your true identity, you begin to understand that your worth is not determined by anyone's presence or absence. Ability to step away with peace is a declaration that you are whole within yourself. To walk away without trembling is a sign that you know you are not diminished by what you release. You are not desperate for someone's acceptance because you are already grounded in purpose. The ability to say goodbye without collapsing under the weight of rejection reveals strength that cannot be manufactured. It shows that you have learned to live from within rather than depend on external applause. When you no longer fear being alone, you discover a freedom that makes you unshakable because solitude becomes a place of strength, not weakness. Every distraction you walk away from positions you closer to destiny. Confidence is knowing that a closed door is not the end of your story. It is simply the redirection of your steps. To embrace this truth is to embrace true freedom because you are no longer bound by the fear of losing what was never designed to complete you. A woman who can release what drains her and still walk with dignity carries a beauty and authority that cannot be taken away. That kind of confidence makes her unstoppable because her strength flows from within, not from without. The more you separate yourself from what drains your spirit, the more room you create for what elevates you. Life has a way of filling every space you allow. If that space is crowded with noise, negativity, or relationships that pull you backward, there is no capacity left for the blessings and opportunities that are meant to move you forward. Many remain stuck not because greater doors have not opened, but because they have not cleared the room for them to enter. What surrounds you influences what grows within you, and when you allow your environment to be filled with what weakens you, your strength will always be compromised. There is power in being selective about what and who you allow into your life. Not everything is worthy of your energy. Not everyone is qualified to have access to your heart. When you remove the voices that tear down your confidence, you begin to hear more clearly the voice that reminds you of your purpose. When you release the habits that drain your joy, you suddenly find the capacity to cultivate disciplines that build your future. The exchange is never loss. It is transformation. A woman who chooses to distance herself from what diminishes her value is not walking away from comfort. She is walking toward elevation. She understands that subtraction often precedes multiplication. She knows that pruning is not punishment, but preparation for greater growth. Every time you remove what weighs you down, you make space for what lifts you higher. That is how you grow into your true self, not by adding more noise, but by protecting your atmosphere so that only what is aligned with your destiny can remain. This wisdom is what positions you for strength, clarity, unshakable peace. Freedom is found when your worth is no longer tied to who stays or who leaves, but to the divine assignment placed over your life. Too often, women unknowingly place their value in the hands of people, attaching their identity to relationships, approval, or acceptance. But the danger in this is clear. When people leave, your sense of value leaves with them. When they change, you question yourself. When they betray you, you feel broken. This is not true freedom. It is bondage disguised as love or loyalty. The moment you recognize that your life is governed by purpose and not by people, you begin to live differently. You understand that no departure can cancel what God has spoken over you. No rejection can erase the blueprint of heaven for your destiny. When your confidence is anchored in your assignment, you stop chasing those who walk away and stop begging for what was never meant to remain. Instead, you stand firm, knowing that every person in your life is either a lesson or a partner in your mission. This is the place where peace begins to reign in your spirit. You are no longer shaken by changing seasons or shifting relationships because your identity is anchored in something eternal. What God called you to be existed before anyone applauded you, and it will remain even if no one recognizes it. A woman who finds her worth in her purpose becomes untouchable because she knows she cannot be defined by another's opinion or absence. Her life takes on a stability that circumstances cannot shake. From that stability flows an unbreakable confidence. She is no longer afraid of who comes or goes because her assignment is bigger than both. The true evidence of maturity in a woman's life is revealed in her ability to guard her peace and protect her heart without apology. Many people confuse maturity with age, but growing older does not guarantee growth within. Maturity is measured by the choices you make, the boundaries you establish, and the wisdom with which you handle what life sends your way. A woman who understands the sacredness of her peace does not allow just anyone to enter her space because she knows that her heart is the wellspring of her destiny. To guard your peace is not selfish. It is stewardship. What you carry on the inside is too valuable to be contaminated by negativity, chaos, or toxic voices. Protecting your heart means discerning who has access and who does not, what you entertain and what you refuse. It is the decision to silence what disrupts your clarity and nurture what strengthens your spirit. When you no longer apologize for setting boundaries, you prove that you have reached a level of strength that many never achieve. A wise woman treats her heart like a garden. She understands that every seed planted within it produces a harvest. If she allows bitterness, insecurity, or constant comparison to take root, the harvest will be destructive. But if she carefully guards her heart, planting only what aligns with truth, joy, and faith, her life will flourish regardless of external storms. This is why maturity is not about pleasing everyone. It is about protecting the sacred place from which your purpose flows. A woman who values her peace above people's opinions has found a power that cannot be shaken because she lives from within, anchored in wisdom, and her life becomes a testimony of strength and clarity. Woman, hear this with clarity. You were never created to be enslaved by what drains you, defined by who leaves you, or imprisoned by fleeting emotions. You were designed to live from a place of vision, strength, and divine assignment. The greatest victory you will ever achieve is not in conquering the world outside of you, but in mastering the world within you. When you learn to release what no longer serves your destiny, when you anchor your worth in purpose rather than people, when you protect your peace without apology, you become unstoppable. You rise above rejection. You walk through storms with dignity, and you stand unshaken by the noise of this world. The shift is not coming years from now. It is already at your door. Don't ignore it. Embrace it. For the moment you do, you step into the fullness of who you were always meant to be, a woman of unbreakable strength, unshakable clarity, undeniable purpose.